All right, we're going to get into the intersection of consulting for equity and media deals and just some really cool things that you can do. But first, I want to make a couple of announcements. If you are in the Patreon and you haven't gone through the recent post that I did on leveraging live events with media, I'll tell you, we've got clients in AAC that have generated millions. One in particular has generated over a million from live from this kind of strategy. We've also had Josh, who we had on the channel, who's in AHC. He's done a live event. And then we've got some people that have just done this live event thing. And then I wanted to jump into last night's call with Luke, where he was talking about a one-time event that generated $1 million in one event, and just some intricacies there. So I'm going to reschedule. We'll do another, actually it's a whole call. That email will go out tomorrow. So we'll do next Wednesday, just same time, but we'll move the next call up a bit since we weren't able to go through those questions. And that was like the beginning of a very, very good conversation. So you'll get an invite. It'll be the same time next Wednesday as our normal time. But we'll kind of add that call in there, and we'll just spend most of the time doing some Q&A. Like I mentioned, if you're in the Patreon and you haven't checked out that most recent post on this live event strategy, be sure you go through that before next week's training, because once we get into the live training, I think that's on the 15th. I want to make sure that y'all are kind of already at a certain level so we can go and get into some additional strategies there. And finally, if you're going to be in Atlanta, especially if you're going to be attending Game Plan, I look forward to seeing you in person. I'm going to be speaking on the 27th, I believe. So look forward to meeting you in person, hanging out at that event. All right, so let's jump into this. I want to talk about leveraging media for social media, on the social media side, and how we combine that with just offline businesses. So obviously, when it comes to you're out there, you're doing deals and you're doing kind of the live event thing. I did a post on that. But one of the other things we're going to talk about in this upcoming training is getting into the nitty-gritty of leveraging kind of three different things. Number one is the equity consulting strategy. So if you're going through that course, which you get for free as a Self-Wealth Patreon member, you're doing some of the assignments, and a lot of those assignments are going to build the foundation for this strategy and others. And when we combine that with media, you're able to do some very, very neat things. And I just feel like, one of the things that is my favorite strategy when it comes to the equity consulting is just leveraging other people's assets and resources. This gets into the foundation of how we think as deal makers. At the very foundation of this is that you shouldn't be building anything from scratch. Everything that you need has already been built and created. And more importantly, when you look at a lot, especially brick and mortar businesses, most of those businesses are not maximizing the use of those assets and resources. So we can go into those businesses and be able to leverage what they do have. So I wanted to talk through kind of one of these scenarios, and hopefully it sparks some ideas and we can have a lovely conversation after the training next week. So when you look at some businesses like cafes, bars, restaurants, that kind of thing, a lot of those traditional business models, they are focused on the traditional ways of doing business. So traditional marketing, traditional kind of upsells, traditional just providing good customer service. And all of those things are really important. And all of those things can be assets to us if we're doing things like the consulting for equity type of strategies. So we love a great business that just is rooted in those past strategies, because we want to leverage some of the newer strategies. And, we go over a bunch of these scenarios in the training. So I'll talk about one of the coolest ones, which is leveraging the media mogul side of things in order to go into these businesses and create a win-win situation. So obviously we're going through this huge shift. And influencers and Instagram and Facebook, all those things have a lot more leverage than ever before, and it gives us an opportunity to get into these traditional spaces. So if we can acquire media, then we can go to the owners of these traditional businesses and leverage the media that we've acquired in order to promote their business. Now, this is really simple at the high level and everybody gets it. But one of the things that I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to is you can buy media that is really focused on a local area, and you can leverage this strategy with businesses that are those offline businesses, like the cafes, like the restaurants, like the hookah bars, like the regular bars. All of those types of businesses become a big opportunity for you to go in and create a more integrated business model. So, the aim would be that you're creating an in-person experience for the people that are following those that page or that media, and you're promoting the business at the same time. And what we've seen, like one of the reasons why I'm talking about that live strategy, one of the things that's been cool is when you can acquire, let's say, a Facebook group, and then you put on a live event, a lot of times those people have been connected for years and years. So when they have the opportunity to not just connect online, but connect in person, it becomes this really, really big deal. And they just honestly end up being really grateful to you. So you can do this in even a smaller scale by having something that's more ongoing. So you could do this as a live event, but you could also just do it as an ongoing Thursday night thing that we do at this cafe. And the cafe is in partnership with you, and you're giving the people that are interested in this particular theme page, because a lot of people, when we think about influencers, what we think about is, oh, they're following this person, but there's a lot of other keys around that. And typically the people that are following that theme page or that influencer have a lot of things in common. And it goes beyond the influencer itself. They're just interested because that influencer is talking about things that all of those people are interested in. So if you go to one of these cafes and they say, hey, on Thursday nights, I know that tends to be a slower night for a lot of places. I love to come in and I'll bring my audience in and I can tell you kind of the types of food that I would want. I think that my people are going to be interested in. We maybe maybe it's the same food, but we just rename all of the dishes and do a one night menu that has the names of the same food that you make all the time, but it ties in inside jokes, the interest of this group. And the restaurant already has all of that stuff ready to go. So they know what the food cost is going to be. They can basically make sure that you're going to make a certain amount of profit and all of those things. And the restaurant wins because you're able to bring in an audience and you basically just do a split. So that split could be a split of just the total revenue. It could be a split of food and they get the bar. You could get into, just a lot of really cool things. Now, obviously, the idea would be to blow out that Thursday and then say, hey, we'd love to do this on a weekly basis. Can I get a piece of equity in order to do this on an ongoing basis? So you do a heavy promotion on that first one, and then you create this more long-term symbiotic relationship. Now, here's the benefit beyond the money for the person that owns that media. When you get people in person, the connection to that brand becomes way tighter than anybody who's just an offline influencer. It's one of the things you see with Mr. Beast. He has these offline things like chocolate, and he tried the Mr. Beast restaurants that actually didn't go well. So you can learn a lot from what he did, and that's why I think you want to really be involved. What he did, as the quick version, is he outsourced it to somebody else. So somebody else was running this, and they really just took his brand. I don't think you want to do that because you're providing your audience with this expert experience, but you still at the same time want to leverage the expertise of the venue. You want to leverage their staff and all of those costs and not having to take those up upon yourself. Now, you can get into some technology stuff where you start to build a deeper relationship with those folks, separating the people out. that are coming live to the events and giving them additional bonus and benefits and access and those kinds of things. And that motivates the other people to come in and get that in-person experience as well. And in those cases, now maybe there's a different type of promotion that you can partner with another brand or another entity, because now you have these people that they want to experience what the types of events and restaurants and things that you're doing in person. So you start to move those people around. So I want to give you that kind of foundation, because we're going to dig and build some other really cool things on top of that on the Media Mogul training. This also ties into some of the things of where we were going in the loop conversation, and also we'll dig into just answering some of the other general questions in the Acquisition Holdco program. If you're interested in either of those, check out the links below. If you're gonna get a deal done this year, I want to encourage you to definitely come and join us in the Acquisition Holdco program. And we'd love to have you a part. If you just want to get some more YouTube videos, subscribe, like this video. Tell me your thoughts on this strategy. I'll talk to y'all soon.